Welcome back to Gatekeeper Media's coverage of the Swedish Disc Golf Pro Tour. We are here for the 5th event of the Swedish Pro Tour, and I'm Andrew Fish, joined here by Chandler Fry to talk about the Skelleftea Open.
Skelleftea Open, I am happy to be here with you, Fish. We have an awesome course, absolutely beautiful, and we have quite the crew of players to watch today.
Yeah, for sure. This course blends open and woods and tight lines and twists and turns. I'm very excited to see it. In our card, Lauri Lehtinen, James Proctor, Luke Samson, and Hjalmar Fredricksson.
Yeah, 3 of those players I'm pretty familiar with. One, Hjalmar, I am not so much. I'm excited to see him today. I hear he has a pretty buttery forehand.
Oh, he's got a lot of good game. Young player, but we've seen him on the Swedish Pro Tour firing off some good putts too. Hole one, 719 feet, 219 meters as a par 4. Throw a straight shot that breaks back to the left, and then a narrow corridor leading up to this basket. However, there's some out of bounds to contend with late in the flight.
I think with this hole, you just want to stay in the fairway. Make sure on hole 1 you have your scramble game going, because you're most likely going to hit a tree at some point during this round. Here we have Lauri Lehtinen, letting one fly. Good controlled stand-up disc. Hits a tree, doesn't go too far right, should have a second shot.
Yeah, would have liked that to swing back a little early. Or earlier, perhaps the headwind kept him held up. Here's your buddy James Proctor going to go wide hyzer.
Yeah, absolutely. On a heater this year. I think he's 5th in Disc Golf Pro Tour standings. He is feeling his game, and it is showing. He is, I believe, been on 14 or 13 lead cards this year already.
And Luke Samson making, I believe, his first trip to play in Europe.
Yeah, solid player, backhand, forehand, unique style, but it works for him. And Fredricksson, the lefty, I've heard a lot about him, and I've just heard that he is a smooth player. Talking about smooth, here's James going a little high over the trees. Just going for that position, right in the middle.
Samson's going to have to throw a little bit more of a flexy type shot, and perhaps afraid of the right side out of bounds.
Yeah, it snuck through a little bit. He should have a longer putt at birdie. Lauri in an uncomfortable position here. Lets one off a little bit late.
That's going to be Hjalmar, but yeah,
Oh, my bad.
And now using his right hand is Lauri Lehtinen. And that may be out of bounds over there.
James struggling a little bit on this first hole. Leaves himself with a very long bid for par. Very long bid. Wow.
Yeah, nobody getting a clean look at this, and that's not unusual. The hole scored over half a stroke over par, only 6% birdies on the day. Hjalmar with a pretty good look, and I believe Lauri did stay inbounds.
Okay, it looks like it's on the right side of that road. Giving it a bid. Good height, just a little right. Ooh, tough looking putt here for Luke for birdie.
Yeah, it's a good thing he's as tall as he is, being able to straddle out.
Yep, just a little miss on the left there. Didn't give it much of a chance. Proctor starting his round off with a bogey. Not how you want to start. But knowing Proctor, he's fine.
Yeah, by this time of the day, the rest of the field has played the hole. You know what you're dealing with. You know that taking a bogey isn't the worst thing.
The one thing I've found with Proctor's game is he is perseverant. The guy battles. The guy might have a couple bad holes, but he is going to turn in around. That's for sure. A little par for Luke Samson there. Hole 2, 102 meters, par 3. Looks like a tight tunnel through these trees out into the open where you want to finish slightly left towards the green. Not a lot of OB to speak of, just a lot of trees to navigate through.
It is double mandatory off the tee.
That is good to know. That's tough. It definitely makes you think a little bit more than just having a tunnel. It brings in the nerves a little more.
Yeah, I think so. Like a gap that players would ordinarily hit now becomes a little bit more crucial because you don't want that bonus stroke.
Yep. Just makes you think a little bit more than you probably should. And Luke taking his time, and he splits it.
Yeah, good dedicated hyzer release. But even with that, the disc won't get much skip for him.
A bit of a tougher shot for a lefty. You got to have that hyzer flip or the sidearm. Looks like he connects with some trees.
And so much of the action in this shot has to be late.
Mm-hmm. Oof. Looks like he made the Mando, gets out, has a long look, but likely a par.
And from here, just got to be a dedicated hyzer release. Lands on the mulch on the hillside, so minimizing the damage.
I thought he was way closer. Okay.
And Proctor, I suppose he did miss the Mando and is going to get to the bullseye.
Oof. A laser sidearm. Puts it a little long, leaves himself a tester.
And Samson from inside the circle does connect and on the board for a birdie.
Yeah, he has a good committed putt. Nice and strong.
And Hjalmar Fredricksson.
Interesting putting style there. I like
that.
Yeah,
tell me about that. You're a putting connoisseur. What do you think about the nose down, wristy spin?
Yeah, the main thing I noticed is there wasn't a lot of lower body use. There wasn't any legs involved in that putt. It was mostly just angle and arm, which I was pretty surprised by. It looked good, though. It looked good. I'm sure for the longer putts, he'll start using the lower body. But he had plenty of power coming from the wrist and the elbow there.
Yeah, something to keep an eye on.
Yeah. Proctor starting off bogey.
Hole 3, 231 meters is a par 4. Very challenging to set yourself up into a good position as there's a tunnel to navigate and then popping out into a field and the basket tucked about 10, 15 meters past a second wood line.
Luke Samson has an absolute cannon of a forehand. I love watching him play. That one leaks a little early, gets through the trees. Not sure how that's going to look over there by that tee pad. Probably not great.
There is out of bounds left on the tee shot and then everywhere on the second half of the hole.
Oof. So I guess right is the place to be if you're gonna miss.
It's the safer spot. However, as you're seeing other players choose the left side initially, I think you just need to trust the stability of your disc more than Luke had.
Yeah.
Sets up well for the lefty spin.
Looks a bit wide. Connects with a branch. Comes back in bounds. Should be good. A good looking shot from Fredricksson there. And James, no stranger to the trees, having grown up in NorCal. Oh, man. Okay, that was good. Not really.
Interesting to see him take the inside flex line instead.
He has a great sidearm. So there might be some nerves at play here. He might be second guessing himself a little bit. and he is safe. There's a little pinch point down there. That looks really tight. I'm sure most of these players want to get over that instead of landing near it.
Correct. That pinch point is where the out of bounds is tightest. Samson having to stagger out almost back to the basket and make some good forward progress.
Still finding himself on the edge of the fairway and the fringe, making it pretty difficult to have a comfortable spot, comfortable lie.
And I said in the whole preview that it's pretty difficult to set yourself up well. Hjalmar, with the best tee shot of the group, still has to throw a pretty challenging second. Only 3 birdies on the day. We'll see if anybody here can throw in from well back on the fairway.
Wow, only 3 birdies. That is a difficult hole. Big, high, flexing Anheuser. Looks like it's a little bit too much. Not enough Anheuser on that. Oof. He is in the woods. And Lauri looking to put one close.
And gets the full distance, but kind of an errant shot.
Yeah, not committed, it didn't look like. The angle was wrong. Just didn't have a chance to get close. Same looking shot from Luke here. A little closer, doesn't have the same distance. But
yeah, his excuse, though, was he wasn't able to look straight at the gap.
True.
And notice the righty forehand over there.
There we go. And somewhere in there is James. Good looking shot. Good looking out from James there.
Yeah, was that upside down driver or something?
Something like that. He's been around the game for a long time, so he's got some skills that most people don't even know about.
Lehtinen going to have to settle for a 5. Here is Samson for his 4. And that's gaining strokes on the field. Not just that it's not getting birdied, but it averaged over a stroke over par.
Wow. Decent start from Luke, honestly. Par, birdie, par is looking pretty good out here. Hey, look at that. There's no movement in the legs. I find that so interesting. I want to see a longer putt from him just to see what he does.
I think there are some players who have transitioned to that, like only doing wrist.
This is the new
Up to ice orbit. Look
at this
very nice thing.
tingling.
Let's cast a blast. Hole 4, 738 feet, 225 meters, par 4. Similar to the other 4s we have seen, tight, wooded with danger on the right and left. There is a pond you have to navigate over. A lot of movement to the green. It's a pretty crazy looking hole. Let's see how Luke navigates this.
Wanting no part of aggression, he's going to lay up short of the pond.
Sticking to his game plan there. I wonder if Fredricksson will be able to attack this more with that lefty angle.
I think definitely, because the fairway is going to break pretty severely right after crossing that pinch point and pond. So his fade is going to be a little more natural.
You can see a bit more height, a bit more power. And he wants that to sit, which it does right in the fairway. That's a solid looking throw right there.
Yeah, making the catch cam turn around as well.
That's always a good sign. Unless they're standing right by the OB.
Good correction from Lehtinen's previous forehand. And just not testing the water at all.
Proctor battling some mosquitoes, looking to bounce back from a reverse turkey. What do you call 3 bogeys in a row?
I think I've heard buzzard or something like that.
A turkey vulture or something. Going big.
Wow, what a smash.
I think that's good. Man. You can tell that James is trying to get something going after that start. And Luke letting one rip, letting it glide a little bit to the right. That looks nice.
Yeah, should land him in a decent spot. Although birdie largely out of play.
Yeah. I think the decision is made on this hole on the first throw, whether you're going to go for the birdie or not.
Yeah, definitely. And I like, as a course design feature, putting something in what would be a normal landing zone that makes these players choose a side and play golf.
Yeah, I think that's great. And this green area is beautiful.
Yeah, excellent upshot there from Hjalmar. And now Proctor.
Looks like he's throwing maybe a zone there. Beautiful shot.
Yeah, and look how easy their upshots are after throwing big on the first.
Paid off.
Mm-hmm. Rewarded for their risk.
There we go. They made a decision, and the decision worked out for them. And Luke deciding to go for par, giving that a bit of a run. Nice layup. I'm not going to keep harping on this, but I just wonder where he learned that putt. That must be self-taught. Because I can't think of any other player that really putts like that.
Well, I was kind of starting to say it on tap outs of the previous hole. Like, Gannon Burr is very arm driven. There's not a whole lot of leg movement there.
Same with Calvin Heimberg as well.
Yeah, so maybe just a little evolution in the way some players think about putting. Hole 5, 104 meters as a par 3. There it is. It's just right there.
This is probably the most must-get hole we've seen so far on the course.
By far. The 5th easiest on the day. First one we've seen averaging under par.
A bit of a yank there. But it gets through OB. Dang. He's going to be way back, I believe.
Yeah, out of bounds on the left side, as well as long of the basket.
I'm not sure how bad the mosquitoes were during this round, but you can see them buzzing around the lens. And I know from experience that having mosquitoes out there definitely changes, it impacts the round. Definitely takes some more energy out of you. Takes your focus away, swatting at those buggers.
We're also pretty far north in Sweden, in Skellefteå. Wow. So I guess the mosquitoes have to make hay while the sun shines as well.
There we go. More power to them, right?
And ensuring this stays down the right side and then get some late fade.
There we go. Good safe play.
Mm-hmm.
Did Luke stay in bounds?
I don't think so. We'll see where he comes up with.
He's definitely testing that line. Yeah, I guess the thing with Luke's throw is if you do go out of bounds with that throw, you will be having a pretty easy par putt.
Right. Out of bounds so close to the basket that effectively you end up with a tap in.
Yeah. Kind of looks like he stayed in bounds. Yeah.
Okay.
There we go. There's a birdie. 2 down for Luke. Looking good out here. And James bringing it back. No pars on the scorecard yet.
Yeah, weird day. Hjalmar going to take a step back to even, but everybody else, good birds.
Hole 6, 443. You have feet, 135 meters, par 3. You have to navigate a little ascent initially off the throw and then up the hill to the right to the basket. Looks like James is pulling out a fairway, perhaps a Vodum. Nice right finish. Hopefully he gets to some trees a little early.
And that initial incline doesn't look like it does a whole lot, but notice how our first 2 players have thrown pretty high. Like, it's making your initial angle of attack very steep.
It definitely changes the flight of the disc. You have to choose a different stability than you would if it was just flat. And here's Lauri. It looks a little right. What am I talking about? Who knows?
Right. It's right of what? The basket?
It looks a little right of the tree right by the basket. This gets a skip. This is looking great. Oh, connects with the tree. Should still have a decent look at birdie from circle 2. James looking to get his first par of the round on hole 6.
Samson, little bonus opportunity.
Ooh, good bid. I've played a good amount of putting games with Luke Samson, and that guy can putt.
Also a real practice grinder.
Oh yeah.
Hjalmar with the stepper. Look at the velocity coming out of there.
That thing was moving. All right, James with the backwards hat now. Let's see if that changes his game style.
And the very easy birdie for Lauri Lehtinen.
That is what you want. Yep, some tap-ins here.
I think this golfing can improve our community in many ways. It brings people together.
That maybe some of these kids who feel a little bit lost could find something like disc golf, find friends, find people to come together and play the sport.
Encouraging people to work together, kids to know one another, love one another.
A way for these kids to have a really fun thing to do together.
I think that's what we need in the world, love one another and do life together.
Hole 7, a par 4, 179 meters. An initial tunnel that breaks a little bit to the left, and then it's going to go steeply to the right. Basically a 90-degree angle, and then the basket tucked here in a grove of trees. There's a mandatory that forces you to follow that entire path.
Yeah, this drive is all about placement. You want to get it out there, but you want to have it finished left so you can have an accessible gap to the basket on your second throw. Oh, the hat is back in normal position. Oh, connects with a tree. That should be a difficult second shot to get around that Mando for James.
And Samson with more height. And nearly all the way to the left side out of bounds.
That's looking pretty good. I wonder what Luke is listening to. Do you think he's listening to Swedish folk music?
I think it's a when in Skellefteå, do as the Skellefteans do, probably.
Okay.
So
I love it. Looks like Fredricksson connecting with an early tree, and he should be laying up to get that gap. Yeah, good looking layup. Take your medicine. Don't try anything crazy.
Proctor from an even worse position.
Yeah, the guy's living in the woods right now.
And overthrows the landing zone.
Ooh. Severe hyzer with that sidearm. Connects with the tree. It looks like Luke was just looking at a wall of trees.
Yeah, and here's what a good drive gets you.
Oh, that looked a little left. Good looking shot, though. Another tap and birdie.
Yeah, about to turkey from basically the bullseye.
And James just trying to get close to that basket. He's a little off this morning.
Hjalmar throwing his third.
Come on. Oh, good looking line.
Got to be a little bit
power.
delicate because there is a pond beyond the basket.
James with the tester from the woods in circle 1. Connects. Beautiful putt. Good pace, good height. That's a good sign.
And an excellent scramble. He was never in position.
Yeah, like I said, no stranger to the woods in California. He lived in Washington for a bit. The guy can shred some woods courses. 8, another par 4, 217 meters, 712 feet. Just look at it, nice and straight. Trees on the right, trees on the left. Throw some fairways, don't let it go too far right, too far left, and then finish in this beautiful green area. Yeah, after a turkey, Lauri is looking to put one down the middle, which he apparently does very well. Wow.
Yeah.
He's good, obviously. Luke looking to match Lauri. It's leaking a bit right, connects with a tree, and he is in the shul.
Once again, this front nine very punishing, as this the fourth most difficult hole.
This looks great from James.
Relatively easy to hit the fairway, since it's fairly generous. But accessing the green with another 100+ meter shot that has to finish right, a challenge.
Yeah. Let's see what Fredricksson has for us. Great
Okay.
kick.
Yeah, works his way back to the middle of the fairway.
Luke is not in the shul. Camera angle played tricks on me. Well, he is poking and hoping over here. Gives himself a look.
Yeah, that's about as good as he could do from that position, I think.
Absolutely. And this shot shapes up well for a lefty hyzer. Might be a bit too far. Perfect. Wow. Beautiful shot from Fredricksson.
All things considered, I think I'd like to push that back wall more than testing the inside.
Yeah, looks like James connected with something down there. He doesn't look too happy. And Lauri with the best drive of the bunch.
And upshot gets caught a little bit short. Will still be putting for birdie. Proctor to jump.
That was a tough looking putt there. Had to navigate through a couple gaps.
And Luke Samson, that didn't look like a full run. Looked like he was just settling for a tap in and walk off the hole.
Oh, I love this putt. Right outside the circle, a little stepper, plenty of velocity straight into the heart of the basket. I'm liking what I'm seeing from this young player.
Mm-hmm. And Lauri Lehtinen to keep his excellent round going. Pretty deliberate here, Chandler.
One of the worst sounds in disc golf. The doink. Dang. Still 2 down, going into hole 9, putting together a decent round so far.
Yeah, among a host of holes that have averaged well over par, and the field not doing a whole lot. Hole 9, 245 meters. Another par 4, of course. We are going to kind of throw across the field and then break to the left. There's a mandatory. And then the right side and long on the second half of the hole are marked as out of bounds.
Yeah, pretty similar to the other par 4s, just stay in the fairway. You know, like focus on getting your disc nice and straight. Don't put too much power on it. Don't try to chew off more than you can, or bite off more than you can chew. And Lauri putting this one up a little bit, hoping to finish well left. That looks perfect.
Yeah, looking straight at the basket from that tee shot.
Yeah, still some danger on that second shot. Looks like there's a gap that they have to navigate through. This looks a little tight.
But averts a left skip, also in the fairway.
Oh, that's got a hyzer.
Yeah, notice how both Lauri and Proctor threw a more dedicated hyzer angle, and then Luke very flat out of the hand.
Yeah, I think you want that right to left pushing angle on this hole. Just so you have something that finishes left looking at the basket. Yeah, I'm not sure why you would choose something that would have the potential of flipping up unless you're looking to get way down the fairway. Yeah, Luke's struggling. Looks like there's some OB over there as well.
Bogged down in the thick grass. Hjalmar's third.
Get through.
Had a little bit of fight on it. He'll be in that stepper range.
Yeah. It's got to flip up. Oh my gosh. James just so close, but connecting it with a little bush before the basket. Should have a long look at birdie. And there's Lauri again with that line. He's just not committing to that anhyzer on that approach disc.
Yeah, I don't know if that's not setting the correct angle or if he's not engaging his lower half or not snapping it off.
Yeah, hopefully something he can correct by the back nine.
Mm-hmm.
Just a layup there. Yeah.
And buckets.
Yep. Looks a bit muddy too. Definitely want to get that disc in the basket. Don't want to get mud on that putter.
Yeah, no mud on the chains.
Yeah.
For par is Lauri Lehtinen.
Oh, that branch just took it all out of that flight. So unfortunate hole 9 end to his front 9. But he's still playing good. Just a few mishaps. Fix that chain.
And Luke to close out here. Once again, being deliberate. And fighting with mosquitoes, too.
Ooh, barely over the rim. Good committed putt, though.
And there you have it, our front nine results for this card. Chandler, very excited to see what the back nine holds on this feature card of the Skelleftea Open.
Yeah, absolutely pumped to see what the card has in store for us. No one really lighting it up, but hopefully the back nine can give us some different results.
For Chandler Fry, I'm Andrew Fish, and we certainly hope you'll join Gatekeeper Media as we continue to follow the Swedish Disc Golf Pro Tour.